character. There's that. Okay, and let's go ahead and make the target bounds a little bigger. And that'll make sure that we can be followed. And that does not seem to be working. Interesting. That should be plenty there. Ah, because it's only going to be... Aha. That over 2. And then make this a little bit easier to read. So long story short, it was only checking for the bottom right side of the image, not the bottom top left as well. So we want to make this a centered thing. Hit over 2, and then this should all be good. Stop left. And we follow. So we're going to take the viewing bounds dot width over 2 and subtract that from his left. And then we're going to do the same thing for his height. Divide by 2 and then subtract that from the top. And then we're going to add that and then that actually can be the same. Here. So there's that. And then that'll give us our target. And then the final thing that we have to do is make sure we call the entity.update again. And I'll make sure to update our position based on that velocity. Now in this case, notice that he is unable to get a position. And so what we want to do is come here, do that, otherwise we set his velocities to 0. So that. So now he stands still, but if we get close enough to him, we will move. So now what we want to do is we want to come over here, and we want to come up to here to the collisions again, and case 8 is also going to bounce off of things. And the final thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to make his speed slower. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here, we're going to make his speed actually variable. So we're going to have float speed, and the speed will by default be set here, and then we will move at that speed instead of at 1 each time, and this will help to make it so you can variably increase or decrease the speed to make the game easier or harder. We're going to set his speed to 0.25, and that'll make him just at the right speed. Case 8. It's option by skip back case label. What on earth is option? Yes. That's a new one. That's a very vague error. Never seen that before. Let's see what that is. Is it because I'm declaring a variable there? That doesn't seem right. I guess so. Interesting. Never heard of that problem before. So we can lure him away over here. And then come up here. Uh-oh. He's coming after us. Uh-oh. So we'll run away from him here. And then unlock the door. And there we go. I could do that, yeah. Do it like this, and then yep, so that'll work too. I mean, same thing. Yeah. So, there is our basic game for now. Last thing to do is to add a winning screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to close up that, we're going to add in one more. It's going to be basically the game over screen, but instead it's going to be winning screen. And it's going to be, again, exact same thing as game over, but you're going to be winning. Winning screen. Winner. And we're going to come down here. Winning screen. And we'll come down here to game over. Copy that, paste that. And take this text and update it again. now what we can do is we can come over here and we can say if the user collides with the door, the winning door. There we go. Oh, that's why. Throwing me off there. And so in this case, 11. And then in this case, we want to have the core state change to winning screen. Come up here, get that. Now this should throw some errors because we're doing it at the wrong time. I'm just doing this to make sure that we can go to a winning screen instead. So we'll come down here and lure him away. And come up here real quick. Gotta make sure I don't lose on my own game. Be kind of embarrassing. Ooh. Collide with the walls, right. Now that's going to be what happens because we're starting it at the wrong time. So what we need to do now is we need to have the ability to go to the next winning game. So we're just going to make a quick little global variable. 1 is equal to false. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to set 1 equal to true. Go further down to the update method. I'm going to say if 1, then go here. Here, and of course that's still looking pretty grim, and the last thing we'll need to do is make sure we reset the 1 variable equal to false afterwards. So there's that. Last thing is to come here, set it to SF color green, make it a dark green again, RGB, and new WOM. So now if we go through and we play, we have a bunch of guys that move around randomly, one that stands still. We can go down here and lure this guy away so he follows us. And then we'll come down here, go into there, and we win. And that is it. There's a basic game, a basic little maze runner type game where you can go through, you can have keys, you can have different puzzles and all of that, different types of little miniature AIs, and they are able to move around and everything. So at this time I'm going to go through, I'm going to go on a quick little errand, and I will be back in like 30 seconds. I just need to go upstairs and get something. And when I get back, I can answer any questions people have. Feel free to stick around and ask questions. And again, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, follow me. I really like the feedback. I'd like to know how many people are really interested in this kind of stuff. Helps me get a gauge of what to go for, what not to go for. All of this code will be on GitHub. You'll be able to go through and utilize it. It'll be under the MIT license. This video should be on YouTube. Hopefully there's no reason for Twitch to block it this time around. So you'll be able to go through and watch these again. I'm setting up a regular streaming schedule. There will be more info at the bottom of my Twitch stream for those who are interested. So I will be right back momentarily. I'll have about 15 minutes for questions again. So feel free to ask away once I get back. Start typing them into the chat, by the way, so that I can read them out of there, and I'll read them aloud and then say the answers for those who are watching but not on the chat. So I'll be back. Alright, doesn't look like there are any questions that people have, so I'm going to head out now. But thank you guys for tuning in. Really, really great having you guys on here watching. It's always nice to be able to see people who are interested in this. I've got a few different game ideas. Some of the big ones I'd like to do in the future are Pong clones, because those are pretty simple, a lot easier. Space Invaders, because again, like this, there's a lot of different object-oriented stuff you can apply to it. There's been some mentions of a Minecraft clone. I don't know how easy or hard that would be, but I'd be interested in maybe seeing if that's possible. The other thing I'd like to go through and do is talk about some of the more interesting things you can do with C and C++. So one question I have is, I wasn't here from the beginning of the stream. Do you think you could outline the steps that you look to create the game from scratch? So the big things I look at are from a programming perspective. I try and look at what exactly is basically what exactly can I do to create this game? What's going to make it easiest for me to make the baseline for the game and then add on to it later. So a lot of time this means going up with things like core states, what's going to be part of the core of the project, what are some of the states that the game will be going through, single player, multiplayer options, game over, winning, what some of the objects and entities in the game are going to be and such. So if you look at some of the other projects, like the Breakout clone, there wasn't a lot of entities. There were only 3 entities in there, really, and that was pretty much it. So really I didn't need this whole entity manager. It's all pretty basic stuff. It's all, if it touches it, it bounces. That's it. There's no random movements. There's very little player movement. It's all very basic. So I didn't have an entity manager. I didn't have a lot of other things. Whereas with the shoot 'em up that we did with Santa Claus, the Santa sleigh ride, there need to be a little bit more entities to it. There's a little bit more complex collisions. So I added in the entity manager, but I had all the collisions self-managing. With something like this, though, there's a lot of different types of collisions, a lot of different types of objects, a lot of different types of movements. And so you can see, really, that there's a lot more that I had to go through and plan for, such as, being able to go through and make all of these different things in, only a 4.5-hour time. And so a lot of it comes down to, what do you need versus what do you not need? What can you get away with having versus what can you scrap? And this is really big on time and such. But, if you have more time, you can go through and you can make all of the things from scratch. So I hope I answered your question. again, when I look to create a game from scratch, I look for 3 core things I can do: drawing graphics, playing sounds, and getting user input. If I can do those 3 things, I can make a game out of it. It's really all you need. When it comes to structuring the game, I look for how much time I have, what can I do, and what do I need. And when it comes to actually designing a game with a specific gameplay, I look at what kind of game elements does that gameplay need. Does that kind of answer your question, Commandos? Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, not a problem. Glad I could answer that. So again, I'm going to be doing this more regularly. Next weekend might be a little tricky. I'm going to be moving into a new place. I am getting ready to start my first full-time salary job, which is exciting, but also kind of stressful. I've got a lot of stuff I'm working on. But I'm going to try and do it next weekend anyways. It'll be the first stream of the new year. I'm going to try and make sure these videos get up to YouTube and everything. And yeah, definitely follow me if you're interested in learning more about C++ game design. I might also, if people want, go over things like Unity and Unreal and stuff. And I put some interesting links down below in the chat for this week's stuff. If you're interested, give them a read. There's one really neat one on Unity versus Unreal versus CryEngine that I thought was kind of cool. And I'll post more cool links as I find them and when I do these streams. Thank you for everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.